Hi. I'm here today because I just finished watching Quiet on Set. Um which is it was very, very unsettling. And I have a lot to say about it. Um as it pertains to like just kids in this industry. I have some rants to do, and I will be bringing family vloggers into it. I've wanted to do another rant about that for a while. I just kept putting it off for some reason, and now that I've seen Quiet on Set, I kind of just want to. There's definitely an umbrella. But today. I just, you see, when I was watching, okay, if you've been with me or like follow this channel long enough, you may have been here in 2020 when I told my story of what happened to me, and I put my abuser's information all over the internet. Because I will never get justice. But at the very least, whenever you Google her name, the top thing that will come up is everything that I have to say about her. So I guess that's pretty nice. So like, yeah, if you've been with me long enough, you know my story, and there's just a lot of when I was watching Quiet on Set again, I didn't go through the same I did not go through the same thing, and that's something. There's stuff behind that too, because I was briefly a child actor, a model. Obviously didn't get anywhere, but there's stuff. Yeah, there were too many similarities. Some of the victims would describe some things that happened to them, some scenarios, and I'd be like, oh no, that happened to me, almost exactly, in a different setting, obviously a military setting. But that kind of behavior happened, and it kind of actually, I think it kind of made me realize, actually, maybe for the first time was it 2016? It's, oh my God, 8 years. It was 8 years since that happened. The first time in 8 years, how close I was to more things happening to me. If just a few, in an alternate timeline, were just a few decisions I made were slightly different, especially knowing what I know about my abuser now that I didn't know when I was going through the shit. But people came forward and gave me things. I'm here, but I'm here to tell you, as someone who has just watched this, and as a victim of workplace abuse, right? If you think that this is happening to you, okay? First of all, this can feel like a very fucking hopeless situation. Trust me, I've been there. I really was like, you should send, like, I'd rather be getting shot at right now, honestly. Especially if you work in a place that's very hierarchy heavy, because what workplace isn't, right? But I'm thinking about, things that these child actors went through. I'm thinking about the military. I'm thinking about corporate jobs. I'm thinking about school. I'm thinking about universities and college and stuff. It's very simple advice, actually, but write it down. Write it all down. If you get a fucking feeling that if funny things start to happen, right? If you start to notice some funny fucking behavior from a person, and you think that something is about to happen, something's about to pop off similar with you, or if you are going through it right now, One of the best things, in my opinion, from my experience, one of the best things that you can do in a fucking awful situation is write it down. Keep a journal. Keep a diary. Okay? Because, you know, we all hear it all the time, right? When people come forward about abuse later on, it's like, well, why did you wait so long? Why didn't you say anything at the time? And those are, you know, and anyone who knows anything about situations like this is that they're fucking terrifying. Sometimes at the time, you know, the risks outweigh the benefits of telling what's happening to you at the time, or at least the perceived, you know, risks are greater than the perceived benefits. And you're currently traumatized, right? So you're not even like in the clearest state of mind that you can be in. And it just takes a while. It can take a while. So by the time you get to tell your story, by the time that you get to an investigative body, it might be a fucking while, and they might pull the whole, well, it's a kind of he said, she said, it's a she said, she said, it's a he said, it's a they said situation. And it's just been so long. We don't know what to do. We're kind of limited. And that's why you keep a fucking journal. Date it, timestamp it. And I'm talking, if this person is doing, like I said, if truly, I mean, write down everything. That is something that I think when I was going through it, the chaplain on base at the time told me. He was like, write everything down. Any little funny fucking movement, behavior, write it down. If she looked at me fucking funny, stared at me, I would write it the fuck down. You call me in to fucking harass me and torment me, I write it down. You send me to your boss because he's in on it, because he's fucking in on it and he wants to get in on some of the fucking action, I write it fucking down. Write it all down. Every single little goddamn thing, every little snide goddamn comment, everything. Show the fucking pattern of behavior, okay? And if you want to get really fucking technical, email the notes to your fucking self. I think that's what I did. Because someone could be, it's not likely, right? But someone could be like, well, anyone can fake a handwritten journal. Anyone can fake a handwritten diary or whatever the fuck. Anyone can do that. Okay, fine. Do both. Write your diary and then send yourself an email. Send yourself an email of these journal fucking entries, keep a folder, and when the time comes that you are in a safe enough place to be able to tell what happened to you or what's happening to you, you have a fucking log. If someone wants to try that, well, it's been a long time, they said, I'm like, oh, okay, well, here you go. Okay? What else did I do? I recorded shit. I recorded conversations. I had, I went to therapy and I had a therapist who did, she witnessed statements and stuff. And like I said, it just depends on what you have access to. But my point is that documenting things, first of all, in the military, it's a saying, like, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. So documentation is a huge thing in the military. And sometimes it's used for evil. It was definitely used for evil by my abuser against me. But the thing is, like, because she was fucking lying, she did ruin my career, but she did not do the damage that she really, really the fuck wanted to do. It was bad enough. It was terrible enough that other people could read the shit and be like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? So, where the fuck was I? Yeah, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. I was going somewhere with this. This is like tough stuff to think about, actually. So, but I want to get this out. yeah, I can't think of where I was going with this. It shows a pattern. It shows a pattern of behavior. Oh, I was gonna say that again, unfortunately, justice wasn't really served the way that it should have been, and not nearly on time. But one thing that the documentation did do, and I'd say, 8 years later, maybe this is the best that I could have, done for myself, but it was enough to get me out of the physical location of where I was being abused and harassed and threatened. It got me, it was enough for the powers that be to get me physically out of that location, because there was just enough, I guess, evidence, enough of a record of like such fucking harmful shit and behavior, which again, it should have been enough to do more. It didn't, but it was enough to convince them to move me to another place physically away from her, because she was obviously a clear and present danger. So yeah. So it might not do exactly what you want it to do, but it could do enough to save you, physically. It could do that. I also, like, if you have access to therapy, and your therapist notes, like, ask for, like, and be forthright with them about what's going on if you're able. And again, that's iffy too, because maybe that's something that you don't feel comfortable doing either. All I'm saying is, whatever you're equipped to do, document it, write it down, create a fucking portfolio. I still have it. It's I still have it. It's sitting in my office right now. I actually, there's a trauma anniversary coming up in a few days, a few weeks actually, of I think is one of the top 3 worst days of my life, and I haven't been well at all lately, and I think it's because of that, because it's approaching, and I've honestly been going back and forth between writing it out, or I actually kind of want to look back at this little manifesto and see what was happening in March 2016 to me at that time. Cause I can't remember a lot. My brain blocked out a lot, as is what happens when you're traumatized. Just like I can't remember a lot of my childhood. But the body remembers. But the body remembers, and it will act out, regardless if you consciously remember it or not. So I'm actually considering going back, looking at that shit, which is still very traumatizing. But I want to know what was happening in March 2016, that I have been feeling like complete and utter shit, buried 6 feet below rock bottom. I'd like to know. So that's one more thing that it can be that it can be useful for. And also, if you're in the military like me, or was in the whatever, and you're going for a VA claim, which you should absolutely do no matter what, but especially if you go through something like what I went through, or any of those kids on Quiet on Set went through, that will be absolutely fucking helpful as well, because they will ask to prove that you are indeed fucked up from PTSD. And they will make you write the story out over again, but you can also include in your documentation that huge fucking stack of shit that's like, here's fucking everything. Here's every detail, because they don't want to give you money, right? Here's every goddamn detail, so you cannot, there's no fucking way that you can slither out of this one, slither out of giving me fucking disability, okay? I got 80% on my own from that, and then eventually bumped it up to 100% when the PTSD took its course, really took its course. Yeah, so that's another thing that it can be helpful for. And I don't know, my knowledge of how things work on the outside as far as like disability compensation and stuff is very limited because I was in a cult for 9 years, the Air Force. But if things work similarly out there, perhaps this is all that's something that you can also use all that documentation for. All this to say, in the last 15 minutes, again, if you think something like this is happening to you, I know I know it can be like really shameful and embarrassing, and you may not, no matter how, you might be a kid, you might be an adult, and you may not be in a safe place to tell anyone what's going on. You may not be in a mental, place to tell anyone what's going on. You might feel really embarrassed and ashamed, which is completely fucking normal. And it really sucks because you're the victim. The person that should be ashamed is the person that is fucking you up. But unfortunately, life isn't fair and that's not how it works. So maybe you feel really fucking powerless. And hopeless right now. But there is one thing that you can do, and that is to write every single thing down and use email timestamps, because timestamps don't fucking lie. Timestamps don't fucking lie, and there is such a thing as metadata that even if the email doesn't get, even if it gets stuck in your fucking inbox, metadata can be pulled to figure out when it was first attempted to be sent. How do I know this? Because I'm a Black woman and people have tried to fuck me over a lot since I joined the Air Force. So that's a fact I fucking know. Metadata, that's another thing. Write it down. I just felt compelled to say this, to make this video. Going through shit like that, especially, and when the trauma involved is sexual related, it sucks, man. It's terrible. It is to date the most hopeless I've ever felt, and I had a terrible, and I grew up in terrible conditions. So yeah, it may seem like a small thing, but it could indeed save you. It could indeed just be enough. That is something that you that's in your hands that you can do. I just want to get that out. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. I didn't even plan for this video to be this long. If you're going through something like that, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I guess logging off, all I can say is, I'm so sorry that you're going through it, and you shouldn't have to be resilient and brave to survive it. But again, life isn't fair, and you can, and you can get to the other side. But I'm acknowledging that it's really fucking rough and not fair. And I don't want to be toxically positive either, right? Because there's nothing positive about going through something like that. It's not making you stronger. There's no reason for it to happen. There's no reason for things like that. Like, there's a reason for everything. There's no reason for this to be happening to you. There isn't. People just really fucking suck. I didn't think that people could be as bad as what I've experienced and watched. But they absolutely can. You're not crazy. It really is happening, and that person really is an Avengers level threat. So do what the fuck you've got to do. Do what the fuck you've got to do to protect yourself. Whether it's writing shit down or having a go bag ready to skip town if you need to. Another thing that me and my husband have had to do. Ridiculous. I'm so sorry. I've mentally been there, and you might feel like really fucking lonely in just how colorless and gray the world feels, and just like how eager you might feel to literally just slip away from reality, just slip out of this timeline, because you're just like, is this really happening right now? You know? I've been there, okay? But I'm here now, right? But it's taken a long time, and if it takes you a long time, that's fine. It's 8 years and I'm still really fucked up. I'm better now, but I'm so fucked up. And even if it takes you 20 years, 30 years, the rest of your life, that doesn't make you weak at all. It just, please don't think of it as you being weak. Just think about the fact that what you survived was an Avengers level threat. So of course it's gonna take you a long time, and I'm so sorry. Okay, I don't think there's much else I can say. So hope that information helps.